Well, good afternoon, everybody. Sorry for the slight delay there while we got the presentation loaded. Welcome to this, the final workshop of the second day of the conference. We're almost at the end, which is great. Thank you for your stamina, seeing you through to this part of the day. Just the closing plenary session after this, and then it's heading straight through to the dinner and the party. So not far to go now. This session is called Generating Revenue from the Corporate Sector. And delighted to say we've got Jari-Pekka Jouppi from I2, which is a Finnish marketing and sponsorship company. Jari-Pekka is going to be giving us the benefit of his knowledge and experience of many years of selling sponsorship to the corporate sector. And he's been working on behalf of the two Finnish ports for the tall ships races next year, Turku and Kotka, and successfully selling sponsorship on their behalf. So he'll be telling us about how they have achieved what they've achieved. But before we get into that, just a few introductory slides from me. And most of this, I think, is fairly obvious. For host ports running tall ships events, engagement of the business sector is vital. You need the cash and you need goods and services in kind to supplement the funding that the city is going to provide. It enables you to do more. You need more money in the budget to create a bigger event program in your city. It's also essential to engage with the corporate sector on behalf of the ships. The ships want deck event business. They want parties on board. They want that revenue that can help them to run their sail training programs. And obviously for you as host ports who are looking to attract as many ships as possible to your events, the more business there is, the more ships in theory you can attract. So it's in your interests to be successful when trying to engage with the corporate sector. A couple of recent examples. In Ålesund in 2015, 75% of the total event budget for that host port came from sponsorship. So the municipality was only responsible for finding 25% of the budget. In Aalborg in 2015, there were 66 deck events sold for ships, 66 parties, which was an amazing result and great revenue for those ships participating. So business engagement is vital, and we have to get better at doing it. Business engagement also means that our events become more sustainable, because the money from the corporate sector helps us to run the event, helps us to attract more ships. More ships means more sail training experiences for young people. And the whole thing spins on in a successful way. If you don't have the business element, it's very difficult to sustain your event program. And I think most of us know this. But it's difficult. It is very difficult. There are many barriers to success. Some of them we can control and some of them we can't. So you've all seen this sort of thing. We've all talked about it. Oh, it's the summer holiday season. Everyone's away. No one will buy a party on the ship. The economy's terrible in our country at the moment. And no one's got any money. But there are certain things we can do something about. We can be better at our sales and marketing. We can start early. We can develop great products, great propositions, and we can market them effectively. And that's what we're going to hear about today. The question is, how do we overcome these things? Well, we have JP who's hopefully going to tell us the answers. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Jari-Pekka.
Team Kotka with me and promise beer every time they clap their hands, and if they make waves, they give them a bottle of red wine. So, all right. How many of you are taking care of sponsorship in your own event? Who is selling sponsorship? You are. Okay. I'd like to know, what is the price level? Let's say, for example, main sponsors. What do you want? What you're seeking? What kind of money?
For Stavanger 2018, we are asking for 1 million Norwegian kroner, which is about, divided by 9, so it makes it into euros.
Yeah.
That's for main sponsor.
Okay.
But we're also trying to get the general sponsorship
at
a higher level for 2 to 3 million Norwegian kroner.
Okay. And you, sir? What is your price for the main sponsors?
Well, we're in packages anywhere from $150,000 down to $5,000.
Okay.
So, in generating a target of 1 million.
Okay, yeah. When we started this job, our starting point looked like this. This is the Finnish economy for last year. And you see the blue line -40 from the balance here. So it wasn't very good place to start to sell something. This is the marketing share in Finland. You see the sponsorship here in the left, 6%. It's about 175 million euros. That means that in Finland, we are using altogether 170 million for sponsorship. It includes sport and events and high schools and everything. Here in Sweden, they're using about 1 billion euro. In Norway, something like 750 million euros. In Denmark, 650 million. So the starting status in Finland wasn't very good. But what was good, last time when the event was in Finland, 2013, in Helsinki, I was taking care of the same business as here this time. We get 550,000 visitors and approximately 1 million euros deals. This includes both money and barter deals. And we made also visitor survey, and it showed that 94% of Finnish people thinks that Torsip Race is a good event. So in that way, economy was really bad, but the ground for Torsip Race is quite good in Finland. And few words about our company. This I2, which is the name of the company, it means that human to human. It doesn't matter what kind of organization you have. There's always one person who makes the contract with one person. So human to human. And our company, we are about 42 persons. We have offices in 2 cities, and we are designing stories. We use in marketing a lot of stories because, well, if I take this one, how many know you know the story about Little Red Riding Hood? How many? Okay. Everyone who lift your hand, can you tell your own company strategy? How many can? Usually 1 or 2, about 100. Because story is a powerful way to tell something. Strategy is most difficult. So we are using stories in our company. And we know that if we want to have something happen, you have to take the emotions on the table. And how much we talk about digital in our society, so our hearts are still analog. So these are the main structures what we are using in our business. We have 5 different business areas. We are doing business development, marketing, events, a lot of videos and TV commercials and sponsorship. These are some of our customers. Fujitsu at least is known to everybody. Santander is also our customer. We have about approximately 100 customers in 1 year. So starting point. Kotka and Turku decided approximately a little bit year over that they will work together and get one agent who will get all the sponsor deals. And then we were chosen, and our target was get 1 million euro, 400,000 in money and 600,000 as a partner deals. So this was all the starting points. And it means that we have to make a plan because they also told us that we have only 3 months time to collect this. 1 million euro, 3 months and 1 week. So you need a good plan. And we started to make the plan so that what is the product? What do we have? We have 2 harbors, 2 weeks, and next year is also a very massive event year in Finland because we have anniversary. We are going to have 100-year birthday, and it means that it will be thousands and thousands of events in Finland. So we are among them. But when we start to discuss with the cities that how many visitors they are expecting, we noticed that this is going to be the biggest event in Finland next year. Kotka said that they are waiting something like 300,000 visitors. Turku said that over 500,000. A sponsor says, like me, said, okay, so we are seeking 1 million persons, 1 million visitors event. You know, when a salesman start to talk, so it's changed a little bit. So 800,000 is nearly 1 million. So how to make most of it? Okay. Okay. What did we do first? We make an industry survey examples. Every event, if you start to think your event, so what are business brands which are suitable to your event? When you start to think about different events, so for my experience, I said that from 10 to 30 different branches are always suitable for any event. And we find 24 different. It was event structures, vehicles, beverages, and so on and so on. And we make a list, okay, 24 different brands. And then we start to look the brands each by each, so that which are the companies who are big in that branch, who are active, who are doing a lot of marketing, who are among sponsorship already, or is there something new product or service coming to the market? And that way we find 264 suitable companies, and that was our target. Who is doing work so like an in-house, so taking only by yourself selling the sponsorship? Okay, let's say that you would take 264 companies. How long do you think you will take time from you?
264,
Yeah.
264 weeks.
Yeah.
264
Well,
weeks.
I can tell you it's between 6 and 8 months, because I've done it several times. I know that to reach the right persons, to send an email, to have interest, can we meet, make an offer, and then get the deal. So it's between 6 and 8 months. And we had time 3 months, as I told you. So we couldn't do it, or I couldn't do it by myself. It means that we have to do something else. And also same time, both Kotka and Turku said that they will have also local sponsors. So it's on the second line what they want us to sell. So 3 months, and we did so. First we were through that what are we selling actually. We are selling, as I told, 1 million contact, or nearly 1 million contact. I have to admit that some places I've said that clearly over 1 million contact, but it's a salesman's speech. Visibility, of course, very strong marketing. I don't think that there won't be any person in Finland next year who wouldn't know that there's going to be a Tall Ship race, even if you're living high in the Lapland, but still you will know it. Activations, I'm sure you know that there's every year in Chicago the world's largest sponsorship seminarium in IEG, and what they told last month about is that the big sponsors in USA has totally forgot logos from events. They are only offering different kind of activities for the customers. They want to reach customers to doing different kind of activities. They don't show logos at all. Logos has no value more. If you reach the people, do something where the people connect with your product or your service. And this was very key thing in our sales presentation. And of course, different kind of values, because people think values by their own emotions. So you have to find that kind of emotions that people are thinking positive, and we choose, of course, see young persons, children, and things like that. So to take benefit for people's own emotions. And of course, in Tall Ship race, very good feeling. Usually, this is not always, but usually in summer in Finland, the sun is shining and we have very good weather. In January, it's a little bit different, but good feeling comes by good weather. When I said that it was 264 companies, and I couldn't do it by myself, so I took the whole selling group what we have inside our company. It's 12 people, and I gave to everyone a number of contacts. This 30 company you have to go through, this 50 company you have to go through, depending are they living in Helsinki or in Tampere, and in which branch they have most knowledge of. We made partnership proposals. I go this through very fast now because I know this is the last seminar you just want to go out or spa. So, but we did paper like this to everybody. This was the opening material. When we phone to somebody and said, okay, can I send you a material? This was the material email we sent it, and this was like a way to get. This is a funny thing. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but okay. So we told them the basic information about event and all the dates, when it's happening and what. A little bit dodgy phrase, even quite many knows it, but in the business side, so you have to always tell the basics. And this is one of the value things: 100 heroes, 100 stories, coming from the 100 celebration, and also protection of Baltic Sea and so on. And of course, what is the benefits to be a partner? These are our price levels. The main sponsorship, 120,000 to 150,000. But in fact, this is not so that we couldn't change the prices, because if somebody came and said, listen, I have 92,000, are you willing to accept my money? No, sorry, we have package only for 120,000. Of course we took the money, but just have to adjust the benefit, what they get with that money. And then, okay, more about the benefits. And then this is the most important slide of this. Everything, we promised that every contract is tailor-made. And you see later how many contracts we made, and I don't think that we have not even 2 contracts which are 100% similar with each other. Because this is the day system. You have to tailor it because the companies are so different, they have different needs, and they want to react different. So you have to tailor-made. Everything what is here in the proposal was only a succession. Think this is one way, but what everyone wanted to change it somehow. Then we go through the agreements levels, what you would get if it's like this, but as I said, not one single packet went through like this. And we had 4 different levels here. And then we told them about the timetable so that they can start to think about how to take care of the deals. I don't know how do you tell your customers or your sponsors, but we usually told them, okay, if you put €1 to the contract, you have to be ready to put €1 or €2 to take the benefit. And it's quite common sense, 1 plus 1. And what more you take your own customers or own people, so restaurants and things that cost so much that usually to put €1 to benefit isn't enough. You need €2. So if somebody was paying 100,000, we told them, okay, be ready to put 100 or 200,000 to take the benefit out. And this is the job what we are doing now, because we have the whole winter time to go through with the companies all the benefits.
Did they have to sign something on that, or is that just an agreement you make?
We'll see. Okay. These are the tools we were using, because 12 persons, so we have weekly meetings, and of course every month with all the Kotka and Turku, where we are heading on the right. There's one schedule where we are doing. This is not the ready one, but what kind of sums we get from the companies or part the deals. And what was really important is that you have to have a clear system, who is doing what, and where do we stand? What is the situation at the moment? So if like Heli from Kotka phoned to me on Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock and asked what is the situation, so almost every time I could tell her.
Trust me, I didn't know.
Yeah, quite many times. This is the agreement. We did agreement with everyone. Okay, this is only the first page. In the actual agreement are 4 pages, and we wrote up everything what we were talking. Everything we discussed it, because if you don't do it by the paper, you can't leave it. You have to have it on paper. Especially if later there will be some troubles. Did the company get what we promised? Did the cities get what the company promised? So you have to have an agreement where to see it. So, summary. This is the result. 264 contracts, about 100 meetings, and 21 deals. And these are the logos for the companies. There are 6 main sponsors, 3 media sponsors, and then 15 different level sponsors. And when we think about it, that we had time 3 months and 1 week, so I have to say that I'm quite pleaseful about the results. The money altogether, or money or barters from T-Steel was 2.4 million euros. The goal was 1 million euro. Now we get 2.4, and we are continuing the job so that we are selling local sponsors for Kotka and local sponsors for Turku. And now, Kotka people, shut your ears, because I'm going to say something which you don't have to remember later. If it goes well, we have time now the whole winter, so we have a small possibility to get the total amount of contracts to 3 million euros. And I think that's quite a good result.
How many of these are going to be active on site? Do we know yet?
No, we are going through the companies, most of them I think, but I can't say for sure, not yet. Few slides, what is going to happen now. For example, here in the left is the advertising in where we are going to start now, 3rd of December in Finnish newspaper. We will tell them that full sail up to the harbors and Kotka and Turku, and so this is the way how the sponsors are with us. And on the right side, how to put on the music stage the sponsors up, how to put in the gates when you're coming to the area. So of course this is only visualization, but this was the material we showed to the sponsors, that in this way we will give your logos and visibility. This is we have a Pernod Ricard as alcohol sponsor. This is their advertising in local print, and they are selling a package with Tosi Praise wines. There are 2 bottles of wines, and we have made this kind of package for them.
Can I ask how you picked that particular winery, or how was that a relationship you had, or because I know there's probably a lot of options on that.
Yeah, in Finland there's something like 90 companies which brings wine, but Pernod Ricard is our customer in the advertising side, so it's easier start there, and we get a little better contract than we thought before, so it was easy to choose them. But we did discuss with 3 other companies also, and Pernod Ricard was the best.
Do you develop a competition?
Sorry.
Do you develop a competition between the wine companies?
Absolutely. Even if I hadn't, and I told them that okay, there's one other company who's a very big interest for this. Rise the price up.
So you haven't, have you given them exclusive for the winery?
Yeah.
They have,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a high
Yeah.
price.
Well, not high price, but if the cities are happy, so I'm happy. This is a storyboard about the coming TV commercials, and here are both Kotka and Turku's websites. They'll be different, but this is the way how they show the main sponsors, and inside the sites there are all sponsors also with logos. So what was the key to success? Because we think that it was a successful process. So first of all, a good plan. You have to, when the time is limited and when the resources are limited, so you have to have a good plan. Second of all, you have to work very systematic. I spoke with the other salesmen every day, and every week we had a meeting where we went through what is the feedback and in the market. In let's say we were seeking car deal. So we have one of the Finland's biggest car sales as our customer, but still they didn't make as good offer than what Mercedes-Benz did. So we're discussing about the situation and the price level. So in total, you have to be very active. 264 companies, 3 months. So it really not too many coffee breaks, because if you want to get results. Also, it helps if you know the market. Okay, we are advertising company, so we should know markets. But the most important thing here, I think, is that you have to have an understanding about sponsorship, how the sponsors work, and the sponsor is changing all the time. And as I said, that logos is not so big thing. Okay, it had changed already in the USA. In Europe, not so much. In Finland, it will take 2 or 3 years that the logos perhaps are totally away. But next summer, they still will be a lot of logos. So you have to understand the level, how to do it, and with whom. So this is what I have to tell. Do you want to? Okay, Paul speaks now, and then you can ask afterwards. Or
Take questions now. If anyone has a question for JP now.
okay, we start from the here from.
Hi.
Hi.
The part about this that I don't understand is that I'm a company and you're selling me sponsorship.
Yes.
So you say, Michelle, can you give me £100,000?
Yes.
And I'll say, yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
And
Thank
then
you.
you say to me, this is in theory. Then you say to me, but for every benefit, you need to give me more money. So what am I getting for my £100,000?
We offer you a basic package, which is combined for the money, but you don't have to accept it, or you can accept only some part of the package. And then you tell to me that, okay, I want to have 15 deck parties, which wasn't among these packages.
Oh, okay.
So we changed that part, what the company said that this is important to us. Yeah. And we didn't say that, okay, give me 100,000 and then you have to give more money. We make first a deal with the 100,000, and then we start to ask, okay, how are you going to take the benefit out from here?
Yeah.
And so
presumably, I'm giving you £100,000. You're going to give me 10 trainees, a deck party, and a page in the event program.
For
And
example.
you've already costed those things out. You understand what that's going to cost
Yeah.
you to deliver.
absolutely, we make the calculation before we start to sell.
So, what kind of profit margin do you work on for the packages?
It depends a little bit, but between 50 to 80%.
Right.
Yeah.
Great.
You were next, please.
In regards to your agreement with the two cities,
Yes.
your fee, is that on top of the 1 million you have to get, and who pays for that fee? Do you have to get that additionally?
The cities pays the fee,
10% or
but
whatever your
now Antti
percentage
from
is?
Kotka will answer, because this is the central thing we are talking about, money. Antti, what do you want to answer to her?
Do I have to remember now? The way that we structured it is that there's an upfront cash payment for these guys, which is not much. It was about 10,000, 15,000 or something like that. And this was like in a public competition, so when you're doing a big deal like this, you have to make it public. And then there's a certain percentage of the money that comes in, and it's a little bit different to the barter side than it is to the cash side. But we are talking 10, 15, 18%, in that range. And then when they reach a certain limit, it goes up.
But is that within the 1 million, or do they have to get 1 million plus 18%?
It's within.
Okay, so your budget was lower than a million.
Yes. Well, yeah, I mean, and the way that you can do it is when you're running your own budget, is that you have you've allocated money for security purposes, event security. It's a big spending for us. We have a very big area, so it's in the region. And then they compete with a certain number of security companies, and then the security company comes in and says, okay, well, we'll give you 20,000 buffer, or 80,000, and then I can calculate that against my budget. So in a way, they are just closing deals for us that we would have to do anyway, but we're getting more when I was comparing to last year, for example, when we negotiated most of these things ourselves. We're getting a better deal in that way. So because they're professionals negotiating all these contracts, whereas our city lawyers will take 2 months to go through
Yeah.
the page of a contract.
And for example, contract like you, Antti, told about security. So this is an example. Event like Kotka, so the price for taking care of security is something in Finland. It's something like 300,000 euros. So what we told to the company is that, okay, we are seeking 50% barter. We will pay you on 150,000, not 300,000, and instead you get something other with the other part of the other 150,000. But we totally calculated all the time that they have to be so good deal that it's worth the city to do it.
So are you upfront that the percentage of your take from the donor is known? The donor knows that there's a commission for the sales.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the percentage of the evidence, and they don't mind that.
No, and it's also in the agreement paper. It's told that we get our money from that contract, but the money comes from the city.
Versus them doing it themselves.
Yeah.
They think it's value for money.
Yeah. I think so.
Two questions. First one was, I think you said that the target market was 268
Companies. Yes.
And that 50 of those were your existing customers.
Yes.
How many of the 21 deals that you did were with your existing customers?
2 or 3.
As low as that?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll come back to a second.
Okay. All right. So you're in the left thing. Yeah.
Just some questions to say. First of all, well done.
Yeah. Thank you.
And you can pay me later for that.
Yeah. Thank you. It's 1 beer.
Incredible job.
Yeah.
But no title sponsor, no ultimate one
No.
sponsor.
No.
Senior.
And that was because of the economical situation. If the time it would be different, we would seek something like 300,000 euros from a title sponsor, but the time wasn't right for that.
And how did you then manage that kind of multiplicity of second-tier sponsors? Is that more difficult?
Well, it's a bit difficult, but we were quite open when we met the companies. We said to them that, okay, we're not seeking a title sponsorship because you don't have so much money. So it's a lot easier to say, okay, give me 100,000 instead of said, give me 300,000. So it's also a selling technique like that.
So do you have a gold, silver, and a bronze strata of sponsorships?
Yeah, you can name it by that. We haven't used that name. We are just telling that your main sponsor or
main secondary.
Yes, something like that. Here.
When you do your past events and you do like a post-evaluation with the sponsors, what are the benefits that they actually get from it? They said, is there some things that you didn't think they would get from it, or is it things that you didn't expect them to get as a benefit? What do they say to you after the event, like it's really enjoyed or not?
First, you have to decide with the company that what will be measured, because one of the sponsors is a company who will measure the event, and we will go it through with all the companies. So we have 3 or 4 main things, and then it's quite quite direct result. So we will see that, okay, if you were seeking visibility, so let's say there was 1 million spectators, how many did see your logo? If the answer is 15%, so I'm sure they are not happy, but if the answer is 55%, so it's quite good. In the back, you lady, you. Yeah.
And one of the big things for now is measuring social media.
Yes.
So how many likes and retweets and everything else, and actually attaching the value.
Yeah.
So the value of online with the value of a Twitter follower.
Yes.
Do you measure that yourselves as well?
Now the company is measuring this. The sponsor inside is the name of the company, so they will measure it. Yeah. I don't know who was in the. I believe it was you before. Yeah.
The result sounds very good indeed.
Yeah.
I think like 250 to 300% target is fantastic. What are you doing with that extra money? How is this? How has the event changed?
I think you need to be with them near the bar tonight because they have money.
Well, I mean, I can answer that, but this is the moment when JP, you have to go here. But basically, I mean, we're at the moment in the phase when, first of all, when you're doing these deals with these guys or anybody that is doing a job like you're doing, you have to be very careful about not to, for example, not to accept a sponsor that you don't really need. There are lots of examples in the history where somebody has said, okay, we got a rye bread bakery and we can give you, 10,000 rye breads. And then you're like, okay, well, what am I going to do with these bloody breads? Nobody can eat this much rye bread, even if you're a Finn, you might eat 3 a day. But so you have to be super careful about what you accept. And then we are now in the phase when it's going to cost us money to have these many sponsors, because when JP said that it's another 100,000 from the sponsor to activate to do something in the event, then it's also money from us to make them comfortable, to create a VIP area for them, to create all the services. So when we did our service design exercise in the city, and we thought about all our visitors and ships and crews and everybody else, we thought about our corporate friends, and we have our own services line of services for them. So we're very carefully thinking, and that's costing us a lot of money. So that's where the going.
You sure?
In your the pricing of each tier of sponsorship, you had a range,
Yes.
and there were gaps between each range.
Yes.
can you talk to the psychology, the methodology behind having the gaps also with maybe just having one number?
Yeah.
As
The reason for that was that we want to have the starting number in that level high enough. So the gap wasn't from 50,000 to 120,000. It was so that it was between 50 and 70,000. So and then when we said, okay, the highest level is 120,000, so that the sponsor doesn't think, okay, can I pay 80,000 or 90,000? We try to affect to their thoughts that, okay, this is something like 120,000 or 100,000, and it's only psychology. It worked. I think now it's Paul's time to come
Any
here.
more questions for JP?
Oh.
Andy?
Does the Finnish government give any incentives for companies to get involved with sponsorship, like corporate responsibility or
No.
tax breaks?
No. Nothing.
So I think in some of the questions you actually can see that there's you have to make a very, very clear distinction between philanthropic income from trusts and private donors, and then with the sponsorships. And sponsorships is completely different language as you get that. That's also the legislation thing.
For those, it's the easiest sell sometimes with companies who sell trainees who stocks in that own top because they feel responsibility about it. They can see that that's a good thing to do rather than the visualization or the motives.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, JP. There's a lot of fantastic stuff in there. JP skipped over some of the slides, but the presentation will be on our website next week, so you'll be able to download some of that detail. There was lots of good stuff in there. But it's quite clear that they followed a very structured process, and it's the old sales funnel thing where you fill the funnel at the top with potential clients and you end up hopefully with some deals dropping out of the bottom. But there's a lot of science that goes into the way you construct that funnel and the processes that you apply as you talk to companies, taking them through that funnel. And so it is difficult, but I think what JP has shown is that you can address most of the things that are the perceived barriers. You can't change the holiday season, you can't improve the economic climate, but there are certain things you can do. You can have a structured process, you can make products look attractive, you can make a value proposition that appeals to companies. You can start early enough so that you have sufficient lead time to take a deal through to conclusion. One of the biggest mistakes people make is to start too late. And you can have a proper process. And if you don't have the skills in-house to do that, then you may have to use an agency like JP's company. And every port will make its own decision on whether they stay with the in-house approach, whether they use an agency, maybe you use a consultant, an individual, one person. And that example I gave of Ålesund in Norway, where they had 75% of their budget from sponsorship, that was one guy. That was a sponsor consultant who'd been doing it for 30 years, and he just knew everyone in that region. He had the network, he had the black book of contacts. So the approach you take will depend on the resources you have and the way you feel you want to run your project. Because the money is obviously with these senior executives. You're trying to engage with busy business people. They have lots of choices about where they spend their sponsorship money. They could sponsor another sports event, another community event. Why should they consider sponsoring the tall ships races? It's a question we have to ask. We think we've got the crown jewels of an event. We think we've got a unique event with a fantastic spectacle. We've got a very powerful set of social values, trainees, sale training. People are going to want to sponsor our event. But actually, the normal rules still apply. There's still a set of rules that you have to work within, and that's sales and marketing best practice. Just because we think we've got a great event, it doesn't mean that we don't have to follow the rules, and we do. And the rules are simple. It's all of these things. It's having the right people doing the job, starting early, being tenacious, developing good products. It's amazing how many people don't follow the rules and then wonder why they've not achieved the result. So, some of the keys to success. And then choosing the right approach that works for you. And don't forget using the network. Every city has a network of suppliers. Who are the big contracts that the city has with the water company, the telephone company, you know, obviously it has to be legal, but there are levers you can apply to your supplier network in the city. And it's not unusual for big sponsors to be the local water company or the local telephone company. You can create a club atmosphere where you run events where you get potential sponsors and existing sponsors to come together to network, to talk about the races. It's all about relationships. That's the nature of sales. It's all about relationships. And you have to start early enough. You have to start early enough to be in time for the budget decision-making process. Many companies will be setting their budgets 18 months before the event. No point going to them 6 months before. Oh no, we decided that last year. Too late. And it takes time to walk people through a process of taking the initial concept of the tall ships races and regattas. What is it? And then getting to the point where they'll sign a deal. And it takes a while. You can't just go in, first meeting, there's the brochure, sign here. It doesn't work like that unless you're very lucky. It takes time to walk people down the track. So you have to start early. And the problem we often have is that people don't know our events. You know, well, I normally sponsor the football club, so I understand that. But what is the tall ships races? How does that work? What are the core values? How much coverage does it get? What are the benefits? You know, we have to educate people. I think in Finland they're quite lucky because there's a high awareness, as JP said, of what the tall ships races stands for. But if you're in the UK, is a good example. In the UK, the tall ships races are not very well known. It's more difficult in Sunderland, perhaps, than it is in Helsinki or in Turku or Kotka. So the local market will vary depending on the country. And we always encourage you to put into your packages deck events, trainee places. They're the things that actually connect the company with the event, the touching of the event. You take your customers onto the ship. You have some of your younger members of staff sailing as trainees. That's how you can really connect the sponsor with the event. And so what you're really doing is you're blending hard and soft benefits. You know, you've got the hard benefits of the guaranteed presence of the logos, the PR, the hospitality, the networking. Then you've got the soft benefits, which is the stuff that Andy was talking about the emotional connection, you know, the doing good for young people, the community engagement, how it makes people feel. That's the soft side. But if you can blend the hard and the soft, you get this multi-dimensional value proposition that's perhaps easier for the company to justify, because you may have an internal advocate within the sponsor, potential sponsor. They may have to take your proposition to the main board for final sign-off, and the main board are pretty hard-nosed. It's like, well, 150,000 euros, you know, why should we do that? I've never heard of the tall ships races. That's where this proposition can be useful. So in summary, it is difficult. We can't affect some of the things in the red, but the things in the green, it's about process, it's about being organised, and it's about starting early. It can be achieved, and it's about connecting with the spirit. I think what we have in our events is a unique spirit. And in all of your sales pitches, don't forget that, because that's the one thing that we do have that most other events don't have. Thank you very much.